As a seasoned woodworker, Richie Banks spent years crafting intricate designs and functional pieces from solid wood. The scent of freshly cut timber, the feel of a well-sanded surface, and the satisfaction of bringing a vision to life with his hands have always been supreme. However, as the world of craftsmanship evolves, so too must the artisan. This is the story of how Richie transitioned from traditional woodworking to creating epoxy tables and why he believes it was the right choice. For years, Banks' workshop was a reservation of traditional woodworking. His tools ranged from old hand planes to modern power saws, each with its purpose and story. The process of selecting the right wood, understanding its grains, and envisioning the final product was both a science and an art. Richie specialized in creating bespoke furniture pieces, dining tables, chairs, and cabinets that were meant to be cherished heirlooms. The sense of accomplishment that came with finishing a piece, knowing it would be part of someone's home for generations, was immensely rewarding. Customers appreciated the craftsmanship, the quality of materials, and the time-honored techniques Richie employed. However, as drifts shifted and customers' preferences evolved, Banks noticed a growing demand for something different, something more contemporary and unique. Epoxy resin tables had begun to make waves in the furniture world. At first, Richie was skeptical. The combination of wood and epoxy seemed almost disrespectful to a traditionalist like him. How could something that seemed so artificial enhance the natural beauty of wood? Banks' perspective changed during a visit to a fellow craftsman named Kent Clark's studio. Clark has seamlessly integrated epoxy into his woodworking projects, creating stunning river tables that seem to flow with a life of their own. The clarity of the epoxy highlighted the wood's natural features in ways Kent had never seen before. Knot holes, imperfections, and unique grains were not only preserved but celebrated. The tables were functional art pieces, each one telling a story. Richie left the visit inspired and fascinated. The potential for creativity seemed limitless. Epoxy wasn't just a material, it was a medium that allowed for a new level of artistic expressions. Banks decided to give it a try, starting with small projects to understand the material's properties and possibilities. Transitioning from traditional woodworking to working with epoxy wasn't without its challenges. The first hurdle was learning how to handle the resin itself. Epoxy is a two-part system, resin and hardener, that requires precise mixing and timing. Too much hardener and the epoxy would cure too quickly, potentially cracking. Too little and it will remain tacky and unusable. There was also the matter of preparing the wood. Unlike traditional woodworking, where precision cuts and joints were paramount, working with epoxy required a different approach. The wood needed to be sealed properly to prevent bubbles, and any gaps or cracks had to be carefully filled to ensure a smooth pour. Richie learned about the importance of mold construction, proper curing times, and even the impact of temperature and humidity on the curing process. Despite the steep learning curve, Banks found the process exciting. The initial trials were far from perfect, but each mistake was a lesson. Richie began experimenting with different pigments and additives, discovering how to create various effects, from translucent rivers to opaque marble-like finishes. The possibilities were endless, and Banks was just getting started. One of the most significant advantages of working with epoxy is the creative freedom it offers. Traditional woodworking, while enormously satisfying, has its limitations. The size, shape, and design of pieces are often constrained by the properties of the wood itself. Epoxy, on the other hand, allows for a level of customization that was previously unimaginable. Richie Banks started receiving requests for custom tables that incorporated not only different types of wood but also various colors and materials. Clients wanted tables that reflected their personalities, from vibrant blues and greens to more subtle earthly tones. Some even requested that personal souvenirs such as seashells or small jewelries be embedded within the epoxy, adding a deeply personal touch to their pieces. This newfound flexibility also meant Richie could reclaim wood that would otherwise be considered unusable. Previously, wood with large cracks, holes or other imperfections might have been set aside or discarded. With epoxy, this imperfection became focal points. The resin filled the gaps, creating stunning visual contrast and preserving the wood's natural beauty. It was a sustainable approach that resonated with many environmentally conscious clients. Another driving factor in Richie's decision to embrace epoxy tables was the changing market landscape. Consumers today are more informed and discerning than ever before. They seek unique, one-of-a-kind pieces that stands out in their homes. Traditional woodworking, while timeless, sometimes struggle to meet this demand for innovation and personalization. Epoxy tables offered a fresh, modern aesthetic that appealed to a broader onlooker. They became a talking point in any room, combining the organic warmth of wood with the sleek contemporary look of resin. The demand for these tables grew rapidly and Banks found himself with more orders than he could handle. Embracing epoxy also opened up new business opportunities. Richie began collaborating with interior designers, architects, and other artists to create custom pieces for commercial spaces such as restaurants, hotels, and office lobbies. These projects allowed him to push the boundaries of what was possible, experimenting with large-scale installations and innovative designs. Of course, the transition wasn't without its challenges. Working with epoxy is labor-intensive and requires a meticulous attention to detail. The resin is unforgiving and mistakes can be costly. There were times when Banks questioned his decision, especially during the early stages when he was still mastering the technique. However, the rewards far outweighed the challenges. The satisfaction of creating something truly unique and seeing the delight on a customer's face when they received their custom table was incomparable. Each piece was a testament to the marriage of tradition and innovation, combining the skills he had sharpened over years with a bold new approach to design. Moreover, the financial benefits were significant. The higher price point of epoxy tables reflected the complexity and artistry involved, and the increased demand translated to a flourishing business. Richie Banks was able to expand his workshop, invest in better tools and materials, and even hire a small team to help with production. Looking back, choosing epoxy tables over traditional woodworking wasn't about abandoning his roots. It was about evolving and embracing new possibilities. The world of craftsmanship is ever changing, and staying relevant requires a willingness to innovate and adapt. Epoxy has not only strengthened Richie's passion for woodworking but also allowed him to reach new heights as an artist and entrepreneur. It has taught Banks that the fusion of tradition and modernity can yield extraordinary results, and that the only limits are those we set for ourselves. As Richie continued to explore the potential of epoxy, he remains committed to the principles that have always guided his work: quality, craftsmanship, and a deep respect for the material he uses. Whether Richie is creating a rustic farmhouse table or a sleek contemporary river table, each piece is crafted with care and attention to detail. In the end, the choice to embrace epoxy was about more than just following a drift. It was about expanding Richie's horizons, challenging himself, and finding new ways to express his creativity. And for that, Richie Banks is grateful. The decision to transition from traditional woodworking to creating epoxy tables was a pivotal moment in Richie's career. It was a journey filled with challenges, learning, and ultimately a deep sense of fulfillment. By embracing this new medium, Banks discovered a world of possibilities that allowed him to push the boundaries of his crafts and create pieces that are not only functional but also works of art. Epoxy tables have given Richie Banks the opportunity to blend the old with the new, honoring the timeless beauty of wood while introducing innovative designs that captivate and inspire. As Richie looks to the future, he's excited to continue exploring the endless potential of epoxy and to share his passion for this unique art form with others. Consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this.